everybody, it's Scarlett, and in this video I'm going to be talking about 5 traits of a high-value male that women find irresistible. So these traits are traits that come from the natural self. They're nothing to do with pickup artist type of things or any sort of tactics or things that fall under inauthenticity. These are things that anybody can do, anyone can cultivate, and it's more about self-development and self-love that leads to attracting real love and real connection. So the first trait that I listed is self-authority. So something that's very attractive about a divine masculine is when a man is in authority of himself. And this doesn't mean someone who is domineering or somebody who has to have power over others, because that's actually just another type of insecurity or lack of self-authority. But self-authority means that a man is in control of his own life and he's living his life on his own terms. So this could be in career. He's doing what he loves. He's living his passion. And also just in how he leads his life. He's not someone who just goes along with his friends' plans, but he has his own plans. He has his own vision, his own ideas. He leads himself. And this is very attractive to the feminine because the feminine complements that leading energy. The feminine is more receptive and yielding, and when there is a masculine who is very much in his self-authority and knows what he wants and is self-directed, has direction in his life, has movement, has this quality of surety and certainty that's very attractive. This can translate to the financial situation, but it's not necessarily just financial, so it's mostly about how you generate your finances as well. Is it something where you're doing something you hate just to make the money, or even if someone's wealthy, but let's say he inherited his money or didn't have to really have spiritual growth for it, that's not really viewed as masculine. So a very masculine, self-directed, self-authoritative man would be someone who created his own world, created his own vision, went after it, and even just being on the path of it is attractive. But of course, having accomplished something that one set out to do is very attractive. Number 2 is the ability to regulate emotions. So a lot of men don't actually have this mastered, and it's because, of course, our society has shunned emotions as something that's very feminine. Men don't cry, things like that. But quite honestly, men are just as emotional as women, and anyone who tells you otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about. In my experience, men have the same feelings, the same ability to express, but maybe different socialized ability to express it, so different outlet to be able to do it. Men have unfortunately not been allowed to feel and express emotions. So a really attractive quality of a guy is when he knows how to regulate his emotions. So usually what you'll find is a man who is not in control of his emotions will usually suppress his emotions and then either engage in addictive behaviors or distractions not to feel his feelings, and maybe have angry outbursts here and there, or just not really flowing with his emotions. And a man who is able to master his emotions, which comes through a lot of spiritual work, spiritual practices, meditation, being able to actually feel and process your feelings, being willing to face them, that's how you release them. You got to feel it to heal it. So a man who is regulated with his emotions, he's not necessarily super emotional and crying in a puddle and just like very dysregulated or drowning in his emotions, which is usually the fear that most men have of feeling their feelings. But there is a balanced point. So there's a way that you can feel in a safe space in a way that is healthy and comfortable and healing that will lead to emotional balance. And It's definitely very attractive when a man is willing to be vulnerable and display emotions, but not be so caught up in them that he drowns in them or he's a victim to his feelings. Number 3 is, as we talk a lot about Tantra on this channel, sexual self-control. So men who have been manipulated by society, the majority of men have been manipulated to believe that they have no control over their sexuality. We've been taught through the largely masculine scientific world that men have this program and they are meant to spread their seed. And even in the media, you see men they see a woman and it's uncontrollable, they see breasts and they can't think straight and all this stuff. And this is all a very primitive way of programming people, and it's not actually true. So the more evolved and attractive masculine will be somebody who has moved that energy from what we call the lower triangle, which is like the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, which is more of like the reactive animal brain, like the survival sort of very physical world type of living, and will have his energy in his higher center, so his heart, his throat, his third eye, and his crown. So it doesn't mean that you're not sexual. Actually, you can evolve to feel sexuality much more intensely and much more magically, but it means you're not a victim to the sexual energies around you, and you're able to discern and choose how you use your sexual energy, which leads to a lot more empowerment. It leads to a lot more freedom. This is why I created my Masculine Mastery course. It has everything in there about how to practice semen retention and sex transmutation, and even how to develop and really be able to experience the higher level of sexuality, having multiple orgasms, and being able to tap into the spiritual dimension of sex, which is so much more broad and satisfying. Number 4 is service to humanity and others. So a high-value male will live for something beyond just his ego. Most people are caught up in just trying to survive and live for themselves, but it's very, very attractive when a man is very service-oriented and thinks about what he's adding to society. I know when I see people who are serving, people who do a lot and are motivated by the value they can add, there's something very magnetic and attractive about that. It means you have so much energy to give. I think Elon Musk is an example of this. He's someone who's very magnetic and attractive because he is usually talking about how he can add value to society. And what he's usually showing that, he's willing to sacrifice and do anything to give and to serve society. There's something very attractive about someone who is living beyond just themselves because it shows a certain level of spiritual development. Number 5 is a healthy relationship to the feminine. So, of course, we're still dealing with a lot of rebalancing of what it means to be healthfully balanced with masculine and feminine. We all have masculine and feminine energy, and a high-value male embraces the feminine traits within him and is respectful to the divine feminine and to other women. So, when people talk about men just being very, kind of rude to women or showing their authority by putting women down, it's actually, people see through it, and it's very unattractive to think that you have to, talk down to women, or sort of that kind of bro culture where there's this division of the sexes. It really just shows that a man hasn't integrated his own anima, his own inner feminine, and there's some sort of avoidance or separation from accepting that within himself. But a high-value male is really well balanced between his masculine and feminine. So he is not intimidated or threatened by a woman who's powerful. He's actually attracted to a woman who challenges him and can make him grow more into his masculine. Because the more strong the polarity of a woman, the more she can create a strong masculine polarity in him. And collectively, what I've found through my experience working with clients and knowing quite a few men who open up to me, is a lot of this has to do with the collective mother wound. Because of our patriarchal society and women being suppressed, it's had a reverse effect where a lot of our mothers have been very domineering, very emasculating, abusive, narcissistic, and just disrespecting the masculinity within their sons. So a big part of reclaiming that masculinity and reintegrating your anima, your feminine, is doing any healing that might be needing to be done relating to the mother wound, and even to past relationships, which all reflect the original mother wound. I do one-on-one coaching if this is something that resonates with you and you would like to have a healthier integration of your masculine and feminine energy. That's it for this video though. I hope it's helpful. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments.